Landing humans on another celestial body was once a regular thing, then it just stopped. NASA's Apollo program halted after Apollo 17. Imagine a journey of nearly 240,000 miles one way. Then imagine doing it again. 6 successful landings. America had a clear goal: put a man on the moon and bring him back. President John F. Kennedy announced this vision on May 25, 1961. It was a direct response to Soviet space leads. Yuri Gagarin had orbited Earth 1 month earlier. The Cold War space race fueled this enormous effort. National prestige and technological superiority were at stake. Billions of dollars and countless hours went into this mission. The Apollo program's total cost was immense. It exceeded $25 billion by 1973. This amount would be hundreds of billions in today's money. 12 men walked on the lunar surface. 6 Apollo missions successfully landed from Apollo 11 to Apollo 17. Each mission brought back invaluable scientific data and lunar samples. Apollo 11 in July 1969 marked the first human moon landing. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin made history at Tranquility Base. They spent about 2.5 hours outside their module. They collected 21.5 kilograms of samples. Michael Collins piloted the command module in lunar orbit. Apollo 12 followed in November 1969. Pete Conrad and Alan Bean explored the ocean of storms for over 31 hours. They brought back 34.4 kilograms of samples. Apollo 14 in February 1971 saw Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell land in Fra Mauro. They collected 42.2 kilograms. Shepard famously hit 2 golf balls. Apollo 15 in July 1971 was a longer scientific mission. David Scott and James Irwin stayed nearly 3 days, over 66 hours. They drove a lunar rover for the first time, covering 27.8 kilometers. 171 kilograms of samples came home. Apollo 16 in April 1972 continued exploration. John Young and Charles Duke landed in the Descartes Highlands. They collected 94.3 kilograms of rock. Finally, Apollo 17 was the last human mission to the moon. It launched on December 7, 1972. Gene Cernan, Harrison Schmitt, and Ronald Evans were the crew. Schmitt was the first and only scientist, a geologist, to walk on the moon. Cernan and Schmitt spent over 75 hours on the moon's surface, a record. They collected a massive 115 kilograms of samples from Taurus Littrow. Their lunar rover covered 35.7 kilometers in 3 excursions. The Apollo program achieved its primary goal. The political urgency faded rapidly after landings. The Cold War space race was essentially won. Public enthusiasm decreased significantly. Moon landings became somewhat routine. National priorities shifted. The costly Vietnam War demanded huge resources. Domestically, social issues required funding. Congress scrutinized the NASA budget after 1970. The immense costs were simply unsustainable. NASA needed to reevaluate its future. The agency focused on cost-effective, reusable spacecraft. This led to the Space Shuttle program. Skylab, America's first space station, became a major priority. Skylab launched in May 1973. It provided a platform for scientific experiments in Earth orbit. The Space Shuttle was designed to make space access cheaper. It flew for 3 decades from April 1981 to July 2011. These new programs required massive investment. Continuing Apollo missions would divert critical funds. 3 planned Apollo missions, Apollo 18, 19, and 20, were officially canceled. This saved billions of dollars. The scientific community had gathered a wealth of lunar data. Over 382 kilograms of lunar material came back from Apollo. These samples provided insights into lunar geology, composition, and origin. They helped us understand the moon's formation. Future human moon missions were too risky and expensive. Perceived diminishing returns in scientific value played a part. NASA turned its gaze toward other planets. Robotic probes became the preferred method for distant exploration. Mars missions took on new importance. The agency pursued long-duration spaceflight in low Earth orbit. The International Space Station became a future aspiration. The Apollo program was a monumental achievement. It demonstrated incredible human ingenuity. Its end was a complex interplay of politics, economics, and scientific rationale. The decision involved many interwoven factors. The public mood shifted. Financial pressures mounted. The initial challenging goals were met. Humanity's direct footsteps on the moon paused for many decades. It was a chapter closed, but not forgotten. New plans now exist to return humans to the moon. The Artemis program aims to do that in the mid-20s. Many new technologies are being developed. It will be a different kind of mission with commercial partners. It will focus on a long-term sustainable presence. The lessons learned from Apollo are vital. The challenges are still enormous. The dream of lunar exploration never died. It just took a long pause, a nearly 50-year pause. The next steps will build on the legacy of those 12 men and the 400,000 people who supported them all those years ago.